My dear friends, have you ever noticed that the strongest trees are not the ones growing in perfect soil, but the ones that have faced the fiercest storms? In the same way, a girl's true strength is not just in her smile, her beauty, or her charm, but in her ability to rise above challenges, to stay connected with God's wisdom, and to shine even when life tests her. Today, I want to share with you 5 powerful rules that can help every girl become unshakable, unstoppable, and truly strong, not just in the eyes of the world, but in the eyes of the divine. Remember, strength is not about how much you can lift with your arms. It's about how much you can carry in your heart without losing your faith, your dignity, and your inner light. When we speak about strength, most people immediately think of physical power, wealth, or position. But the greatest strength a girl can ever have is the strength of her faith. Faith in herself, faith in her journey, and above all, faith in God's divine plan. A girl with faith is like a mountain. Storms may come, winds may roar, but she remains unshaken because she knows there is a deeper force guiding her. Think for a moment. Have you ever seen a bird sitting calmly on a branch? It doesn't fear the branch breaking because its trust is not in the branch. It's in its wings. Similarly, a strong girl does not rely on the world to hold her. She relies on the wings of her faith to carry her higher. No matter how fragile life situations may seem, her faith becomes her protection, her strength, and her freedom. Many times, life puts us in situations where everything feels uncertain. Marks in exams may not be what we expected. Friends may leave us, people may criticize us, and circumstances may seem unfair. In those moments, the world will tell you to doubt yourself, to fear, to give up. But a strong girl whispers to herself, I am not alone. God walks with me. Every test is shaping me. Every challenge is teaching me. Every setback is preparing me for something greater. This inner dialogue, born out of faith, becomes her greatest power. Let me give you a daily life example. Imagine a student preparing for her exams. She studies hard, but when the results come, they are not as good as she hoped. Many people in her situation would feel broken. They would compare themselves to others, and they would lose confidence. But a girl with inner faith thinks differently. She tells herself, maybe this is God's way of teaching me patience. Maybe this is a lesson in humility. Maybe I am being redirected towards something even better. And instead of sinking into despair, she uses her energy to prepare again, to improve, and to face life with courage. The result is that she grows, not just in knowledge, but in strength of character. Inner faith also means trusting that everything happens for a reason, even when that reason is not clear in the present moment. Think about a seed buried deep in the soil. To anyone watching, it looks as though the seed has been lost, trapped in darkness, covered by mud. But the truth is that very soil, that very darkness, is what gives the seed the strength to grow roots and eventually sprout into a tree. In the same way, when a girl faces challenges, she may feel buried under problems. But if she has faith, she realizes she is not buried, she is being planted, and one day she will grow tall and strong. Faith is not blind hope. It is not sitting idle and expecting miracles to happen without effort. Faith is the courage to work hard, to fight battles, and to keep moving forward, while knowing that God is watching over every step. It's like walking in the dark with a lamp that shows only a few steps ahead. You may not see the whole path, but with each step, the light moves forward. That is what inner faith does. It doesn't reveal the whole future, but it gives you enough light to keep walking with courage. Another beautiful example is from everyday family life. A young girl may see her parents struggling to make ends meet, sacrificing their own comfort to educate her. Instead of feeling hopeless, she can choose to see their sacrifices as a gift from God, a lesson in resilience. With faith, she says to herself, if my parents are giving their best, I too must give my best. One day, I will make them proud, and I will turn this struggle into strength. Such faith transforms pain into purpose and obstacles into opportunities. Inner faith also gives a girl dignity. The world may judge her by her looks, her clothes, or her popularity, but a girl with faith knows her worth is far deeper. She knows she is a soul, a child of God, full of potential and light. This belief makes her unshakable when others try to pull her down. She doesn't need validation from the outside because her confidence comes from the inside. And let me tell you something important: faith is contagious. When a girl lives with faith, people around her also feel stronger. Her family feels hope, her friends feel inspired, her community feels uplifted. She becomes like a candle that not only burns bright, but also lights the candles of others. That is why a girl with inner faith is not just strong herself, she makes the world around her stronger. So, my dear friends, if you truly want to become a strong girl, start by building your inner faith. Spend a few minutes every day connecting with God through prayer, meditation, or reflection. Remind yourself that you are never alone. Train your mind to see problems not as punishments, but as lessons. And whenever life shakes you, whisper to yourself, my strength is not in my circumstances, my strength is in my faith. Because the truth is this: when a girl holds on to faith, she doesn't just survive the storms of life, she dances in the rain, knowing that the same God who created the storm will also send the rainbow. Self-respect is the crown that every strong girl must wear. Without it, even the most talented, intelligent, or beautiful person will feel incomplete. Self-respect is the ability to look into the mirror, smile at your own reflection, and say with conviction, I am worthy, I deserve love, I deserve peace, I deserve dignity. A girl who carries self-respect does not beg for validation, she does not shrink to fit into society's small boxes, and she does not compromise her values just to please others. She walks with confidence because she knows that the first person she must honor is herself. Every day, the world tries to test a girl's self-respect. Friends may pressure her to do things she doesn't believe in. Social media may make her compare herself with others, and sometimes even loved ones may unintentionally make her feel not enough. In such moments, self-respect becomes her shield. It is the invisible boundary that says, I will not allow anyone to treat me less than I deserve. I will not lower my standards to win approval. I will stand tall, even if I must stand alone. Let's take a simple daily life example. Imagine a girl in college who is part of a group of friends. One day, her friends decide to make fun of someone else, mocking their clothes and appearance. She feels uncomfortable because deep inside, she knows it is wrong. Now, she has two choices. She can laugh along to avoid being left out, or she can refuse to participate. A girl without self-respect might laugh just to keep her place in the group. But a girl with self-respect will say, no, this is not right. I will not hurt someone just to look cool. She may lose a few friends, but she gains something much more precious, her dignity. And that dignity will attract true friends who value her for who she is. Self-respect is also about how you treat yourself. Many people think respect is something you get from others, but it always begins within. If a girl constantly criticizes herself, compares herself, or tolerates disrespect, She is sending a message to the world that she doesn't value herself. But when she takes care of her body, her mind, and her soul, when she speaks kindly to herself, when she walks away from situations that insult her, she shows everyone around her that she is worthy of honor. And guess what happens? The world mirrors that respect back to her. Think of a glass of water. If you pour clean water into it, it remains pure. But if you allow dust and dirt to fall inside, the water becomes muddy. In the same way, your mind and heart are like that glass. If you allow negative words, toxic relationships, and self-doubt to enter, you will feel polluted inside. But if you guard your self-respect and only allow positivity, love, and truth to enter, you remain pure and strong. Self-respect does not mean arrogance. It does not mean thinking you are better than others. True self-respect is humble yet unshakable. It is knowing your worth without putting others down. It is walking into a room without needing to be the loudest or the most noticed, yet having an aura so powerful that people naturally admire you. A girl with self-respect doesn't need to prove her value. Her presence itself proves it. Let me share another example. A young girl may be in a relationship where her partner constantly disrespects her. By ignoring her feelings, by comparing her to others, or by making her feel small. Many girls, out of fear of being alone, tolerate such behavior. But a girl with self-respect says, I would rather be alone with dignity than be with someone who takes away my peace. She walks away even though it is painful because she knows her worth is not dependent on another person's treatment. And in that decision, she becomes stronger than ever before. Self-respect also shows up in small daily decisions. For instance, when a girl chooses to dress in a way that reflects her dignity instead of blindly following trends that don't align with her values, that is self-respect. When she chooses to use her time wisely, avoiding gossip and negativity, and focusing on learning, growth, and service, that is self-respect. When she chooses to speak the truth, even when lies seem easier, that is self-respect. Each of these small choices builds her strength and shapes her identity. The beauty of self-respect is that it makes a girl magnetic. People are naturally drawn to someone who values herself. Teachers notice her, friends admire her, family trusts her, and society respects her. Why? Because when you carry yourself with dignity, others have no choice but to acknowledge it. Self-respect is silent power. It does not scream, it does not demand. It simply radiates. And remember, self-respect is not something you gain once and keep forever. It is something you must guard every day. The world will constantly test you, sometimes through criticism, sometimes through temptation, sometimes through challenges. But each time you choose to honor yourself, you become stronger. And each time you compromise your dignity, you weaken. That is why self-respect is like a muscle. It grows with practice. So, my dear friends, if you want to be truly strong, never trade your self-respect for temporary acceptance, attention, or approval. Respect yourself enough to walk away from what doesn't serve your peace. Respect yourself enough to stand for what you believe in. Respect yourself enough to say no when something feels wrong. Because at the end of the day, when you rest your head on your pillow, it won't matter how many likes you got, how many people clapped for you, or how many praised you. What will matter is this: can you look at yourself and say, I honored who I am. I stayed true to my values. I respected myself. If the answer is yes, then you are not just a strong girl. You are an unshakable force. One of the greatest strengths a girl can ever develop is the ability to manage her emotions. Emotions are powerful. They are like fire. If fire is controlled, it gives us warmth, light, and energy. But if it is uncontrolled, it can burn down everything around it. In the same way, emotions like anger, sadness, fear, and even excitement can either build a girl's life or destroy it. A truly strong girl is not one who never feels emotions, but one who knows how to rise above them, how to guide them, and how to use them for her growth. In daily life, emotions often control people more than reason does. When someone says something hurtful, our first reaction might be anger. When we fail at something, our first reaction might be hopelessness. When someone ignores us, our first reaction might be insecurity. And when things don't go our way, our first reaction might be frustration. But emotional balance means pausing, breathing, and asking, is my reaction helping me or harming me? Is it lifting me higher or pulling me lower? This one moment of pause can change the entire outcome of a situation. Let me share an example. Imagine a girl in school who works hard on a project. On presentation day, her teacher points out mistakes and gives her lower marks than she expected. At that moment, she feels two strong emotions, disappointment and anger. If she lets those emotions control her, she may cry, argue with the teacher, or lose confidence in herself. But if she practices emotional balance, she will pause and think, this is painful, but maybe it is a chance to improve. Maybe this is not the end, it is just a redirection. Instead of being crushed by emotions, she uses them as fuel to work harder next time. That is the difference between a girl who reacts and a girl who responds. Emotional balance does not mean suppressing emotions. Suppressing is dangerous. It is like keeping a bottle of soda tightly closed while shaking it again and again. One day it will burst. Balance means acknowledging emotions, but not becoming their slave. When you are sad, you admit, yes, I am sad, but you don't allow that sadness to make you feel worthless. When you are angry, you say, yes, I am angry, but you don't let that anger destroy your relationships. When you are afraid, you whisper, yes, I am afraid, but you still take the step forward with courage. Think of the ocean. The waves can be wild and strong, but deep inside, the ocean is calm and steady. A strong girl learns to be like that. On the surface, emotions may rise and fall, but inside, her faith and wisdom keep her calm. This is what makes her trustworthy, dependable, and powerful. People around her will say, no matter what happens, she doesn't lose her balance. She is like a rock. Emotional balance also plays a big role in relationships. Suppose a friend forgets your birthday. The first wave of emotion might be hurt. She doesn't care about me. Without balance, you might stop talking to her, feel bitter, and create distance. But with balance, you pause and ask, could it be that she is busy? Could it be just a mistake? Instead of reacting, you choose to respond with understanding. And very often, you'll find that one small act of emotional balance saves a valuable relationship. Another example is anger. Many times, people say things in anger that they regret later. Words are like arrows. Once released, they can't be taken back. A girl with emotional balance remembers this. Instead of shouting back when someone insults her, she chooses silence or calm words. This doesn't mean she is weak. In fact, it shows immense strength. Anyone can scream, but it takes real courage to remain calm. And that calmness has the power to change situations. Emotional balance is also about not being carried away by praise. Sometimes, when people compliment us, we feel so good that we start depending on it. But the danger is, when the compliments stop, we may feel empty. A strong girl accepts praise with gratitude, but she does not let it define her. She remembers, I am valuable whether people praise me or not. My worth is not measured by their words, but by my connection to God and by the truth I live. Now let us think about stress. Every student, every working woman, every girl at some point feels stress. But stress is not always the problem. The real problem is how we deal with it. Without balance, stress leads to breakdown. With balance, stress becomes motivation. For example, when exams come, stress may feel heavy. But instead of panicking, a balanced girl organizes her time, studies with focus, and prays for clarity. She turns stress into discipline. That is the power of balance. It transforms poison into medicine. The most beautiful thing about emotional balance is that it spreads peace. A girl who controls her emotions creates a calm environment wherever she goes. Her family feels safe, her friends feel comforted, and even strangers feel her positivity. She becomes like a candle in a dark room. Just her presence makes others feel lighter. So, remember this: being strong does not mean never crying, never fearing, or never doubting. It means feeling everything deeply, but not letting emotions control your life. It means being like a lotus in muddy water, surrounded by challenges, yet rising above them with grace. My dear friends, if you wish to be truly strong, practice emotional balance every single day. The next time anger rises, breathe before you speak. The next time sadness comes, remind yourself it is temporary. The next time fear whispers, take one step forward anyway. Over time, you will realize that emotions are no longer your masters. They are your teachers. And when you master them, nothing in the world can shake your strength. Resilience is the art of rising every time life pushes you down. It is the ability to bend without breaking, to stumble without stopping, and to fail without giving up. A strong girl is not one who never falls, but one who refuses to stay down. Life will test everyone. It will throw challenges, failures, heartbreaks, and losses. But resilience is what separates those who give up from those who grow. When we talk about resilience, we must remember that setbacks are not punishments. They are training grounds. Just like a muscle grows stronger when it is stretched and challenged, the heart and mind also become stronger when they go through difficulties. Every time life knocks a girl down, she has a choice: either stay there, blaming the world, or stand back up and declare, "This will not defeat me. I will rise again." And every time she rises, her strength multiplies. Think of a rubber ball. When you drop it on the ground, it bounces back. The harder you throw it down, the higher it rises. Resilience is exactly that. The power to bounce back, no matter how hard life throws you down. A girl with resilience uses pain as her teacher, failure as her ladder, and challenges as her fuel. Let me give you a daily life example. Imagine a girl who applies for her dream job but gets rejected. At first, she feels crushed. Doubts fill her mind. Am I not good enough? Maybe I don't have what it takes. Many people stop here. They let one rejection define them. But resilience whispers differently. It tells her, this rejection is redirection. Maybe God is guiding me to something better. So instead of giving up, she improves her skills, applies again, and keeps trying. And eventually she lands a job that not only pays well, but also brings her joy. Looking back, she realizes that the rejection was not her end. It was her training. Resilience is not about ignoring pain. It is about feeling the pain, accepting it, and still moving forward. When a girl loses a friend, when she faces failure, or when she experiences heartbreak, resilience doesn't say, "Don't cry." It says, "Cry, but don't stop. Feel the pain, but don't let it paralyze you. Stand up and keep walking." This ability to heal while moving forward is what makes resilience so powerful. Another inspiring example comes from sports. Athletes often lose matches before they win championships. A runner may fall in practice many times, but she keeps getting up until her legs are strong enough to carry her across the finish line. In the same way, life makes every girl fall not to destroy her, but to strengthen her for the bigger races ahead. Resilience also means refusing to let failures define your identity. Many girls think, I failed an exam, so I must be a failure. My business didn't work, so I must not be capable. My relationship ended, so maybe I'm not worthy of love. But resilience teaches that failure is an event, not a person. You are not your mistakes. You are not your losses. You are far greater than any single moment of defeat. Think of a diamond. Before it shines, it is just a piece of coal buried deep in the earth under pressure for thousands of years. Without that pressure, it would never become a diamond. In the same way, resilience transforms a girl from ordinary to extraordinary. The pressure, the struggle, the waiting, they all shape her into someone unbreakable and radiant. Resilience also shows itself in small daily moments. Suppose a girl is learning a new skill like cooking, painting, or coding. She tries, she makes mistakes, she gets frustrated. Without resilience, she might say, "This is too hard, I can't do it." But with resilience, she says, "Mistakes are proof that I am learning. I may not be perfect today, but I will improve tomorrow." And step by step, she masters the skill. This simple persistence, repeated in every area of life, builds extraordinary strength. Resilience is also about hope. It is the faith that tomorrow will be better, even if today feels unbearable. When storms come, a resilient girl does not focus on the darkness. She looks for the rainbow. When doors close, she trusts that new doors will open. And when life whispers, "You can't," she replies, "Watch me." One of the most beautiful things about resilience is that it inspires others. When people see a girl who keeps smiling after setbacks, who keeps walking after failures, who keeps shining after heartbreak, they gain courage for their own lives. Her resilience becomes a beacon of light, reminding everyone that no matter how tough life gets, rising is always possible. So, my dear friends, if you want to be truly strong, cultivate resilience. Don't fear falling, fear staying down. Don't fear failure, fear giving up. Every time you rise, you prove to yourself and to the world that nothing can break you. Life will test you again and again, but each time you bounce back, you become wiser, braver, and stronger. Remember this: a strong girl is not one who has never tasted defeat, but one who turns defeat into determination. She is not one who has never cried, but one who wipes her tears and keeps moving. She is not one who has had a perfect journey, but one who has walked through storms with her head held high. That is resilience. And when you live with resilience, no matter what comes your way, you will never be broken. You will only be reborn stronger than ever.